Welcome to the Sky Commander Flight Brief. It's your mission-ready podcast for drone pilot training and aerial insights across Canada.
From Transport Canada rules to real-world drone ops, we break it down, take you higher, and help you earn your wings. Because here at skycommander.ca, we don't just fly.
It hints there's more to it. It's a masterclass, a deeper level, maybe a philosophy or a community focus, perhaps.
It's definitely intriguing, sets them apart from just, a basic tips show. Skycommander.ca is the obvious next step. Precisely. If you're thinking about flying a drone in Canada, boom, this content is aimed right at you.
Powered by skycommander.ca.
The elite podcast for Canada's drone pilot. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, picture this. You've just wrestled that brand new drone out of the box. It looks amazing, right? You're all set for those incredible first flights.
Yeah, that excitement is totally understandable.
But hold on a second. There's this really crucial first step. It's easy to miss when you're eager to get flying, but it can actually ground you before you even start.
And that step is registration. It's fundamental.
Exactly. Beyond just, the fun of flying, there's a whole set of rules. They're there to make sure everyone's safe and responsible.
Right. And that's what we're really diving into today. The Canadian rules for registering and marking your remotely piloted aircraft system, your RPAS.
Or, as most of us just call it, your drone.
Yep, your drone.
So our mission here is to break down these regulations. We want to go past the surface level, figure out not just what the rules are, but why they're important.
And we'll flag some of those things that aren't always obvious, the sort of lesser-known bits. The idea is to help you navigate all this confidently.
Keep things legal, keep things smooth.
Exactly. And we're drawing on the official stuff here, the Canadian Aviation Regulations, the CAR-Rs.
Okay.
Transport Canada's own guidance, that's TP 15263, and also some insights from pilot training materials.
So we get the full picture.
We're trying to. Think of us as your guides through this.
So if you're already flying drones in Canada, or maybe you're thinking about getting one, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're aiming to cut through the jargon.
Get straight to the essentials.
All right, let's get started. Where do we begin? The core requirement.
The absolute core. It's right there in CRR 901.02. Basically, if your drone weighs more than 250 grams.
Which is, what, about half a pound?
Roughly, yeah. A little over half a pound. If it's over that weight, you must register it with Transport Canada, and it has to display its registration mark before you fly it.
Legally, anyway.
It really is that fundamental then. Over 250 grams, no registration, no legal flying. Simple as that.
Think of it like a license plate for your drone.
Okay, that makes sense. It identifies that specific aircraft. Precisely.
Okay.
Now, the how-to part, that's covered in SOCAR 901.04, it points you to another section, subpart 2 of part 2 of the CARs. That's where all the detailed rules for aircraft marking live.
The real nitty-gritty.
And when it comes to actually putting those marks on your drone, CIR 202.13 is the key.
Right, and that says the marks have to be clear, easy to read.
And kept clean and visible. Always visible.
So no letting mud or scratches hide your drone's ID.
Exactly. Now, size is interesting. Manned aircraft, planes, they need big marks, like 3 centimeters high.
Okay.
But Transport Canada knows drones are smaller. So their FAQs say for RPAS, the minimum height is just 3 millimeters.
Whoa, that's a big difference. 3 centimeters down to 3 millimeters.
It is. It makes it practical for drones. So you're looking for block letters at least 3 millimeter high.
And they need to stand out, right?
Yeah.
Contrast with the drone's color.
Good contrast, yes. And how you put them on. Printing, writing with a permanent marker, using a durable label, those are all okay, according to Transport Canada.
All right, so you register it, you mark it, what else?
Well, here's something that often catches people out. Individual registration. This is covered by CIR 202.151A and also 901.04. Meaning each drone you own needs its own registration number.
Okay. So say I run a business and I've got, 2 identical Mavic 3Ts.
Yep.
I can't just register one number and slap it on both.
Absolutely not. Each one needs its own unique C number. Think about it. If 2 drones had the same number and caused issues separately, chaos for investigators.
Right. Clear accountability for each machine.
Exactly. No sharing numbers between aircraft. One drone, one registration number.
Good tip then. Maybe label them somehow yourself if you have a few, just to keep track.
Definitely a smart move for your own workflow. Helps during pre-flights.
Okay, so you've registered it. Is that it? Done forever?
Not quite. It's not set it and forget it. Your details might change.
Like if I move.
Exactly. CR Core 202.16 covers this. If your name, address, or even your email changes, you have to tell Transport Canada.
Okay, makes sense.
Within 7 days of the change.
7 days. That's fast. You really need to be on top of that.
You do, and if you don't update your info,
What happens?
well, you could face fines, and, maybe worse, it could actually invalidate your permissions to fly. So keeping that contact info current is really, really important.
Okay, duly noted. What about getting rid of the drone, selling it, or if it gets lost or, destroyed?
Good question. SATI R202.17 handles that. You're legally required to cancel the registration online.
When?
If you sell it, if it's permanently lost or wrecked, or even if you just decide you're not going to fly that specific drone anymore.
Why bother canceling? If I've sold it, it's not my problem anymore.
But it could be. If that drone is still registered to you and the new owner does something wrong or there's an incident,
It could trace back to me.
potentially, yes. You could get pulled into an investigation. Canceling the registration officially cuts that tie. It protects you.
Okay, that makes perfect sense from a liability perspective. Right, so registration, marking.
Yeah.
Where exactly does this number need to go on the drone? Can I tuck it away neatly?
Nope. No tucking allowed. Transport Canada's guidance, based on that visible at all times rule in 202.13, is pretty clear.
Okay.
The number has to be clearly visible without needing any tools to see it, and without taking anything apart.
So putting it inside the battery compartment is a no-go.
Definitely not. Or under a gimbal lock or anything else you have to remove.
It needs to be visible when the drone is just sitting there, assembled, ready to fly.
Exactly. Powered off, fully assembled, registration number clearly visible on the outside.
What about the type of marking? Could I just write it on a bit of masking tape, quick and easy?
You could, but it's risky. What if that tape falls off mid-flight? Vibration, wind?
Then I'm flying an unmarked drone, which is illegal.
Precisely. So while a temporary label isn't explicitly forbidden, it's not the best approach.
Better to go for something more permanent.
Much better. Think weather-resistant vinyl stickers. They stick well. Or some people even carefully etch the number onto the drone's body if they plan to keep it long-term.
Okay, etching seems pretty permanent. Now this is a big one, I think. Just because I've registered my drone, got the number on it, does that mean I can fly it anywhere?
Absolutely not. This is a critical distinction. CRR 901.02 and 901.69 are clear here.
Registration is one thing, permission to fly is another.
Exactly. Registration and marking are legal must-haves for the drone itself if it's over 250 grams, but they don't automatically give you permission to fly in any particular airspace.
It's like having a driver's license.
Yeah, good analogy. The license lets you drive the car legally.
But it doesn't mean you can drive on any road anytime. You still need to follow traffic rules, maybe pay tolls, avoid restricted areas.
Precisely. For drones, that means getting airspace authorization. You might need to use the NAV drone app or maybe get a special flight operations certificate, an SFOC. It depends where you want to fly.
So registration is step 1 for the drone. Airspace authorization is step 2 for the flight.
You got it. And they work together with your pilot certificate, flight plans, checking NOTAM's notices to airmen, all those pieces.
Okay, clear. What about visitors? Someone coming to Canada from, say, the U.S. with their drone.
Ah, yes, foreign operators. CR 901.22 covers this specifically.
Yeah.
If you're visiting Canada and want to fly your drone here, assuming it's over 250 grams, you must register it with Transport Canada.
Even if it's already registered back home, like with the FAA in the States.
Even then, your home country's registration isn't valid for flying in Canada. You need Canadian registration.
That's a really important heads up for any tourist planning to bring their drones. Register it here first.
Definitely. Now, let's touch on something a bit more serious, this idea of ghost aircraft. What does that mean in the drone world?
Sounds ominous.
It kind of is. Essentially, it refers to a drone flying without a visible, valid registration mark.
Okay.
Under the Aeronautics Act, flying any aircraft without proper ID is a public safety and security concern.
And the consequences could be more than just a fine.
Potentially, yes. Especially if an unmarked drone is seen flying near, say, an airport, critical infrastructure, or maybe a big public event.
That would raise red flags.
Big time. Law enforcement or Transport Canada would likely get involved. They'd want to know why it's not identifiable. It suggests someone might be trying to avoid accountability.
Really hammers home why those visible markings are so critical. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Thinking about exams, the drone pilot exams. There are always tricky areas, right? Common mistakes people make regarding registration.
Oh, absolutely. Training materials often highlight these. One key thing is knowing what gets registered.
Right.
It's the drone, the aircraft itself, not the
Yeah.
controller, not your tablet, not the camera payload, just the drone.
And the serial number you give them has to be the one on the drone's actual frame.
Exactly. The airframe serial number.
What about how long registration lasts? Does it expire?
It doesn't have a fixed expiry date, no, but it's definitely not forever. Remember the 7-day rule for updating your info?
Address changes, etc.
And you must cancel it if you sell the drone, lose it, wreck it, or retire it. So it's ongoing management, not a one-off.
Do I need to carry like a printout of the registration certificate when I fly?
You're not legally required to carry a printed copy, but
But it's a good idea.
it's best practice, yeah. Have a digital copy handy on your phone or tablet. If an inspector asks, you need to be able to show proof. Just saying, oh yeah, it's registered isn't enough.
Got it. And back to the markings themselves. Any other rules? Font. Exact location.
Yes. Block letters, minimum 3 millimeters high, clearly visible on the main body or fuselage, and importantly, good contrast with the drone's surface.
So black letters on a black drone probably won't cut it?
Likely not considered compliant, no.
And we mentioned this, but just to be super clear.
Yeah.
No fleet registration for multiple drones.
Correct. That concept doesn't exist for drones in Canada right now. Each drone over 250 grams needs its own unique registration, one by one.
Okay. Now, those exam traps you mentioned. What are some false statements about registration people should watch out for on tests?
Yes. Classic ones include all drones must be registered. False, only over 250 grams. Markings must be inside the battery door. False needs to be externally visible.
Right.
You can use your FAA registration in Canada. False, need Canadian registration.
We covered that one.
Your name must be on the drone. False, just the registration number.
Okay.
And the big one, registration equals permission to fly anywhere. Absolutely false. You still need airspace authorization.
Those are great ones to flag.
Yeah.
Super helpful for exam prep. Okay, let's clarify some terms. Acronyms get thrown around a lot.
They do. So registration officially is recording your drone in the Canadian Civil Aircraft Register, CVREG.
CVREG, okay, the big government list.
Basically, yeah, like
Yeah.
registering your car. Marking is the physical act of putting that registration number on the drone.
The ID tag on the luggage.
Good way to put it. RPAS, Remotely Piloted Aircraft System. That's the official Canadian term.
But we might hear UAS.
You might. Unmanned Aircraft System, more international. But in Canada, RPAS is preferred,
Yeah.
and CVREG, as we said, is the register itself.
Got it. So, core concepts again.
Yeah.
Drone over 250 grams.
Got to register it before you fly. Basic or advanced docs, doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Line. Transport Canada drone portal. You'll need the drone's make, model, serial number, your contact info, and pay the fee. It's currently $5.
$5. Okay. And the marking.
Visible, legible, block letters, 3 millimeter, minimum height, format C- whatever your number is.
And if I sell it?
The new owner has to register it in their name. Your registration isn't transferable. You should cancel yours.
Right. The training materials often use scenarios to make this real. Can you share one?
Sure. Imagine your drone goes down in a park. Lost connection, maybe. If it's registered and marked,
Someone finds it.
they see the C number, maybe report it. Transport Canada can link it back to you. Better chance of getting it back.
That's a clear benefit. Another scenario.
How about inspections? You're doing a job, maybe advanced ops, an inspector shows up.
Uh-oh.
Not, if you're compliant, they ask to see your registration. You show them the digital proof, the drone is clearly marked, boom, compliance demonstrated, no hassle.
Smooth sailing. And the flip side, the issues from not following the rules. Like selling without deregistering.
Yeah, we touched on that. You sell it, forget to cancel the registration. Months later, the new owner flies it into controlled airspace.
And the authorities track the number.
Back to you because you're still listed as the owner.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're getting calls you don't want. Big headache.
Definitely drives home the importance of doing it right.
Yeah.
What about common myths? Stuff people get wrong?
Oh, yeah. Myth. Only commercial drones need registration. Truth. Hobby, recreational, commercial, if it's over 250 gram, it needs registration.
Okay, that's a big one.
Myth. Marking is optional if you have the certificate. Truth. Nope, the drone itself must be physically marked.
Gotcha.
Myth. Registration is forever. Truth. Needs updates and needs cancellation when appropriate.
Good clarifications. And the legal basis for all this, where does it come from?
Primarily the Aeronautics Act.
Ah.
Then, specifically for drones, our HARS Part 9s, especially Section 901.02,
And that guidance document.
TP 15263. explains the knowledge requirements. And the Transport Canada drone portal is where the registration actually happens.
For people flying before, say, 2019, how has this changed?
Big change. Before 2019, it was less strictly enforced, more like guidelines for some. Now, it's mandatory for RPAS over 250 Grench.
And tied to getting your pilot certificate.
Exactly. Much more accountability now. Easier to track drones involved in issues. As one training puts it, since 2019, your drone's got paperwork too.
Huh. I like that. Any easy ways to remember this stuff? Mnemonics?
Yeah, a couple of simple ones. Register and mark, fly with Spark.
Catchy.
Links the 2 key actions to flying legally. And just remember, C, Canada for the registration number format. C-.
Nice and simple. Okay, let's boil it down. The absolute must-knows.
1. Register drones over 250 grams via the TC portal.
2.
Mark the drone with the C number. Visible, legible, 3mm block letters.
3.
Keep your info updated. Cancel registration if you sell, lose, or retire the drone.
4.
It costs $5 right now.
And 5.
Don't skip these steps. Non-compliance can lead to fines or worse.
Seems pretty clear.
Yeah, look, registration and marking aren't just annoying paperwork. They're fundamental legal requirements. They help keep the skies safe for everyone.
It's about protecting yourself from penalties, sure.
Yeah.
But also being part of a responsible drone community.
Exactly. Remember, individual registration, keep info current, make marks visible, and know that registration alone isn't flight permission.
Right. You still need that airspace authorization when required.
Definitely. And here's something to think about. Looking ahead. Drones are getting more common, technology's evolving.
Yeah.
How might these rules change? Will we see things like digital license plates for drones? Remote ID becoming mandatory everywhere? How do we keep ensuring accountability and safety as the skies get busier?
Interesting questions. Things are definitely evolving.
It's just the start, really. This whole area is constantly developing. That's a wrap on today's mission, Commander. See above, go beyond, get ahead. For more training, tools, and intel, head to skycommander.ca. If you learned something new, share it, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star debrief.